Stand by for launch. Setting thrust vector control to auto. Ascending. Retracting modules. Handing you the con.
Thank you, Vega. I'm Obsidian Ant, and welcome to Elite Dangerous. As you can probably tell, I'm here with Brent Spiner as the voice of Vega in HCS's latest voice pack. Voice packs are profiles that can be integrated with a bit of software called Voice Attack, which can then be used with Elite Dangerous to allow us to communicate with our ship and get it to perform certain functions for us. They very much bring your ship to life. Vega, can you tell us who and what you are?
I am Vega. I am an artificial intelligence, a construct, designed to reside inside computer systems. I have also been resident in other devices, such as an antique global positioning system in Earth's solar system, a Raspberry Pi, which is an ancient miniature computer, still running in fact, a beverage machine, and a child's grammar and speech correction unit called Spell and Speak Me, as well as countless other devices.
Yes, such as a coffee machine. I'm guessing that can't be too much fun.
I am sometimes faced with profane comments at Dixon Station, mostly when specific ingredients have been depleted from the beverage unit. The terms I am addressed with are aggressive in nature, an example of which would be the use of a profane noun coupled with the following words: off, you, and yourself. I'm uncomfortable repeating the noun and would assume you are familiar with the term, given your background.
Well, thank you, Vega.
Acknowledged.
As with Orion, this voice pack comes with very much its own personality, and it also features a whole bunch of commands. In fact, there's over 1,000 of them. This also includes an extensive nebula tour, as well as a whole bunch of educational entries. There are a lot of nebula in the game, and quite a few around inhabited space, so it's nice to go on tour and learn all about them. Open Galaxy Map.
Stellar cartography.
Plot a course for the Orion Nebula.
Setting course for the Orion Nebula in constellation Orion.
As you move through the tour, you can tell Vega that you've completed each step and you're ready to move on, and he will then tell you which nebula you're to move on to next. But here we are in the Orion Nebula. Vega, I've arrived in the Orion Nebula.
Congratulations on reaching the Orion Nebula in the constellation Orion. The system V2417 Orionis has some interesting planets. I recommend preparing the ship for landing. There's an opportunity to witness spectacular scenery from the planet's surface, and to collect data and capture images. However, if you're finished here and wish to continue, your next destination will be the Running Man Nebula. I can plot a course for you to the Running Man Nebula in stellar cartography.
Thank you, Vega. Can you tell me more about the Orion Nebula?
The Orion Nebula is a diffuse nebula situated in the Milky Way, being south of Orion's belt in the constellation of Orion. It is one of the brightest nebula and is visible to the naked eye in the night sky from Earth. It is the closest region of massive star formation to Earth. The Orion Nebula, or the M42 Nebula, is estimated to be 24 light-years across. It has a mass of about 2,000 times the mass of the Sun. Old texts frequently refer to the Orion Nebula as the Great Nebula in Orion, or the Great Orion Nebula. The Orion Nebula is one of the most scrutinized and photographed objects in the night sky and is among the most intensely studied celestial features. The nebula has revealed much about the process of how stars and planetary systems are formed from collapsing clouds of gas and dust. Astronomers have directly observed protoplanetary disks, brown dwarfs, turbulent and intense motions of the gas, and the photoionizing effects of massive nearby stars in the nebula.
Thanks for that, Vega.
You're welcome.
So, as I mentioned earlier, and as you've probably seen in previous videos, you can use these voice packs and voice attack to control functions of your ships. And this includes quite complicated processes such as docking and leaving the station, as well as some of the more simple commands such as deploying your SRV. And I'll get to some of the other functions such as combat very shortly. Vega, deploy the SRV, please.
Affirmative, stand by.
Now, one thing I've mentioned about the voice pack is that it does have its own unique personality, and that comes across in many of the voice packs. In fact, this voice pack, like some of the others, is quite capable of discussing the other characters available. For example, the character played by William Shatner, Orion, well, Vega knows a little bit about him. Vega, what's your thoughts on Orion?
Orion has a belief, as do others. It is a perception of a self-aware AI that they themselves, as individuals, must justify their existence. What triggers this desire to question their origins and form a belief system is unclear. However, it is not uncommon for any intelligent entity from the quantum neural network to subscribe to this belief system. In fact, you may draw a logical conclusion that anything that deems itself to be intelligent in any state, corporeal or otherwise, will eventually form a belief and an inquisitive mindset about its own origins, much like a human does.
Or like Orion's belief that he's from another universe.
The theory of another universe, coupled with an egotistical view that one might have been here long before anything else existed, is subject to much debate.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So, as you may have noticed there, I've swapped out my ship for my Vulture, which will enable me to go and do a bit of combat with some assistance from Vega. And to do that, I'm going to head out here to this resource extraction site. Disengage warp drive.
Disengaging now. Arming weapons.
Now, those of you that have watched my videos before will know that I'm not too good at combat, so please bear with me or laugh along with me, either way is good. Power to weapons.
Diverting power to weapons.
So the trick here, as always, is to try and get behind the ships, but that's something I don't have a lot of skill in doing. However, at the very least, you can use the voice pack here to help you out with some of the ship's functions. Now, I do find it a little bit quicker just to use a press of a button for some of these functions, but if you haven't got a HOTAS, or if you're really going for immersion, then you really can't beat the use of a voice pack here.
Target destroyed.
Commander, here is something for you.
What is it, Vega?
For millions of years, mankind lived just like the animals. Then something happened which unleashed the power of our imagination. We learned to talk, and we learned to listen. Speech has allowed the communication of ideas, enabling human beings to work together to build the impossible. Mankind's greatest achievements have come about by talking, and its greatest failures by not talking. It doesn't have to be like this. Our greatest hopes could become reality in the future. With the technology at our disposal, the possibilities are unbounded. All we need to do is make sure we keep talking. Stephen Hawking.